All right, folks. Let's greetings. Greetings. Hope you guys are having a great evening. Everything's going great for you. It's Monday, so it's time for the Monday stream. I do these Monday and Thursday and Saturday, but this Saturday there's not going to be a stream because we have a funeral. So that is a good reason to miss the stream. So no stream this Saturday. Next Saturday, there will be a stream, and I think I'll have another guest on. Might have Brian Niemeyer on again. He's really popular, and he's got a project to promote, so that, you know, those things kind of go together. So if you have a project to promote and the audience tends to like you or like the discussions we have, then it's a really easy way to keep being on the show. So he's got another Combat Frame Exceed book coming out, and if you're not familiar with that series, it's a mecha novel series, all right? So if you're into mecha, whether that's going to be BattleTech or maybe Japanese mecha like Gundam, then definitely check out Brian Niemeyer's stuff. Let me see if there's anything else that's interesting. I don't have too much else that's interesting to say, except I saw that like there was, I guess there was some kind of leak or hack at Gab that just exposed a lot of personal information. Obviously, if you are posting on Gab, then your Gabs are public, but apparently had more stuff than that the media is going to have turned over to you. So it brings me back to an interesting point, which is that if you are not completely anonymous online, you should assume that everything you say, whether it's in a private message or not, is public. So I don't usually DM things that I wouldn't just say unless, I would DM them because it's just noise if I'm out there saying it over and over again, right? Or like it's only really relevant for me and another person to talk about, rather than me having to like blast it out public or something like that. So just keep that stuff in mind, whether it's like, Gab or anything else. Doesn't matter where you are, just assume that whatever's private is going to eventually become public when it comes to being online, unless you've taken steps to anonymize yourself, meaning, you're using an anonymous email, not an email that's like, Jack Smith, Point Place, Wisconsin, at gmail.com, right? For your whatever your furry, your furry Twitter handle happens to be. So just assume that that's going to be public. It's a good way to approach this, and then it also will just keep you safe, I think. I decided to make my channel a neo 80s 90s nostalgia trip. I love it, with retrowave music and CRTV overlays. I'll play older games and give center right commentary and entertainment. I like the idea of like a CRT, trying to make it that there's something about CRTs. And if you've never, I realize that there's like people who've never really seen a CRT. I had students that are like, I've never, this big bubble television. We had them like in the back room at the school, and they're like, this thing's all weird. It's all, what is this thing? And it's like, oh, dude, this is a CRT, and like it looks really good for games. The old games never really translated well, not because there was more resolution, but because the effect of a CRT is it didn't have necessarily a field of pixels, so things appeared more round and less like blocky back in the day. If you want to lose weight, stop doing cardio ad gets even worse as it goes on. Yeah, I've heard. Here's the thing about losing weight, and this has been kind of on my mind because people, I did a thing like what I learned from losing 100 pounds. And it's all stuff I've talked about before. Like your looks really matter, and most of your looks come down to body fat. That's the red pill thing. Like it's the top two. Is that if you want to make yourself look better, the number one way to make yourself look better is to lower your body fat if it's not already really low. If it's already really low, then obviously like cut your hair, right? Trim your beard up, whatever it's going to be. But yeah, if you lower your body fat, you're going to look better. And the truth is, looks really matter. If you've been on both sides of this, where you've looked bad and you've looked good, looking good, it's like living life on easy mode. It really is. Like you get more job offers. When you go in for interviews, you get asked to do the job more often. You get more attention from the opposite sex. If you're already married, you'll find that your spouse is more interested in you, and that's not an overt thing. That's just how they respond. People are biological entities, and We're focused on the visuals. So if you can improve your visuals, you should do that, whether that's like improving your wardrobe or it's, like this shirt, Slayer. It's a Christmas shirt my sister got me. Improving your visuals or like, just having a healthier body fat percentage, then you should do that. The whole thing, like, cardio makes you burn muscle or something, or people doing cardio. I think the whole thing is like, if you do cardio, you'll get hungrier and then you'll eat more and then you'll get fatter somehow. No, I don't really buy that. But there is possibly some kind of synergy between, your energy if you exert yourself all day, you're going to be hungry. That's your body telling you, hey, we're using energy. You need to like put some energy back into us so that we are closer to our equilibrium. And really the entire process of dieting is saying no to that, whether it's through feeding really low calorie dense foods that the brain gets a signal from the stomach. Okay, we're full of food. Therefore, I'm going to stop sending out my hunger signals. Even though the food is less energy than I believe I need, or it's, just being hungry. Whatever it's going to be, that's what dieting is. It's telling your body, no, we don't need to put more energy into you. You need to use the energy we've stored so that we can be leaner and look better, whatever it's going to be. Here's the thing. When it comes to like mainstream fitness stuff too, if you spend any time on like actual fitness channels, and I guess I could recommend some that I think are good. None of them will ever say that cardio burns muscle or that you shouldn't do cardio. In fact, almost all of them will say cardio is like the most important thing you should do because it keeps your heart healthy. And so if you want to live a long time and be healthy, you should keep your heart healthy. Not just that, but cardio is what's going to make you able to lift weights better. This was the thing, like after I had coronavirus, I was very, like, the secondary infection that I got from it was really bad, and it really impacted my ability to exercise significantly. So the first thing I had to do was get back on the bike and work my cardiovascular endurance up enough to where I could actually complete a workout. Because it was the point where, forget about leg day, dude. You get gassed like just doing push-ups. You do a set of 10 push-ups and you just feel completely wiped out. Forget about trying to like lift heavy or something like that. Lifting heavy is at the extreme end of like your cardio thing. It's like you gotta build everything back up. You can barely breathe. So I don't know of any mainstream or successful fitness personality, whether it's like a Mr. Olympia or someone else. In fact, leading up to the Mr. Olympia show, I'd see all those guys at the Gold's Gym on Flamingo, which is where I worked out when I lived in Vegas. I saw Jay Cutler, Kai Green, you name them. They were down there doing cardio. And they weren't down there just lifting weights. They would lift weights because they're contest prep. They're trying to hold on to this muscle they built the whole year and burn off as much fat as possible. Then they're on the treadmill or the stair stepper for like an hour, 2 hours getting ready for contest prep. Now, if cardio burned your muscle off, why would they be burning off everything they worked hard for? No, they're trying to push their calorie expenditure as high up as possible so that they can burn off that last bit of fat, so they can get as lean as possible. And the drugs are going to help them keep the muscle on anyway. But yeah, like no serious fitness person I've ever met or ever interacted with or seen that seems to know what they're talking about has ever said that like you shouldn't do cardio. It's like the most important thing for your heart health. So yeah, you should do cardio. It's good for you, right? I'm not a doctor and this is not medical advice, but it should be basic, basic exercise. But I think people get attracted to the idea of some sort of easy mode. Like, what's the easy mode to losing weight? And it's like, I don't know, like probably a diet pill or something, right? There's probably some drug you could take that makes it easy, like clenbuterol. Like you just take a bunch of clen as a stimulant and just eat the same amount and you raise your energy, to take a bunch of clen and a bunch of T3 and then you'll lose weight. Yeah. I guess that's easier than carefully managing your calorie expenditures. But the fitness pros, they're really managing their calories. They're managing their macros, like how much fat they're eating. And they're doing like the drugs to get down to that 5%, whatever it is for like some show, something that's, and you see people that are like 5% body fat. That's actually not really healthy. And they're only maintaining that for a couple days. And then they're trying to get away from that because your body doesn't want to be that lean. It's not healthy for you. It's to look good on stage for a couple hours, and then your body needs fat to do stuff. So yeah, I don't know anybody that thinks that like cardio is actually bad for you. Cardio is good for you, and you should probably exercise and do good things for your body. Resistance training is also going to be good for you, especially if your body can handle it, whatever you need to do. Let's see here. Recently, I began to write an outline for a movie regarding music I wanted to write for a while now. I finally have an idea of where it should begin. Good. Seriously, man, thanks for making the truth public about the weight thing. That truth may be a bitch, but it's a real one. People ought to know. Oh, Brian likes his plug. Yeah. So yeah, anyway, it's on my mind. So whatever, people love the idea of like, I don't have to count calories. Everyone likes that idea because counting calories seems annoying. My method is actually really not to count calories, like, blah, blah, blah. But I have like a set of meals. I have a variety of meals. They're all, I know how many calories are in the meal. So every time I make the meal, it's a certain amount of calories. So I really only have to count like 5 things up. It's really easy to add up 5 things in a day, where it's like meal 1, taco grande, 350 calories with an apple, 70 calories. So like 420 calories. Meal 2, waffles and eggs, 500 calories. Meal 3, it's, chicken and rice, 450 calories. Meal 4 is a protein shake and an apple. It's 250. You just add up that. So you're only having to add up a couple of things. So once you kind of get an idea of how much energy is in your food and you're eating a lot of the same foods, it's not really that hard to just know, oh, well, this is about 400 calories, and I'm going to add that to the 400 calories I ate today. I keep a little like Google Docs on my phone. So just pop my phone out and like plug in what I ate when I'm actually trying to like really manage it tight. And then it just, takes care of itself. It's pretty easy. But people don't like that. It's a lot of trouble. So they like to be told, oh, just do this one thing that'll fix it. It's like, oh, instead of doing cardio, which is annoying, it's annoying to get on the bike. It's annoying to go running and like get your heart rate up. So instead of doing that, all you have to do is just like not eat sugar, man. And yeah, you probably shouldn't eat candy all day, obviously, but the simple solutions never really last. And I use like low carb as an example. Lots of people are successful with low carb, but lots of people, low carb doesn't work for them, and then they get jaded. They're like, they're like, no carbs, and then they lose 10 pounds, mostly water, in a week, and then they feel successful with it, and then they have a craving for donuts, and then they eat the donuts, and then they gain weight back because the more carbs you have in your body, the more water you hold. So you eat the donuts and then you gain 5 pounds instantly, and you're like, oh no, And so people get like this yo-yo weight thing going on without really addressing the core issue, which is that you need to have control over what you're actually putting in your body, and not there's no really simple fix. You have to change your lifestyle, not just say, I'm going to eat no sugars or no carbs whatsoever. It's a harder thing to do. And the thing is that anybody, no matter how out of shape you are, no matter where you're at, anybody can lower their body fat percentage easily. The hard part is getting it down really low. And so you have to decide where you want to go. Most people can just make themselves healthier with like a couple of changes. Like, you know what? I'm going to eat donuts once a month instead of every other day. I'm going to have donuts, I'm going to have donuts on Saturdays or something, right? I'm going to have one donut on a Saturday. Just cut back on a couple things. Do a couple little changes out, and then all of a sudden you lose weight and you feel healthier and you're better off for it. Nobody has to be a fitness model. Being a fitness model is really hard. And having pushed my own body fat pretty low, and I'm pretty soft right now. But like having pushed my body fat pretty low in the past, it's really hard to maintain. It's almost impossible to maintain, and it's really hard to get there. And most people that don't have a lot of time and energy to dedicate to it are not going to be that successful with it. There's not like magic formulas of like when I in the 90s it was eat no fat, and then it switched around, eat no carbs. I take a more balanced approach. You can eat fat and carbs, just eat food that's good for you and make sure that it's not too much energy, and you'll probably lose weight. It's even worse than you thought. It's a blatant scam. They said to not do cardio, not reduce food consumption, and also not eat fruits. That's like the worst. That's the worst thing that I could think of. Again, they're trying to sell you some kind of like bizarre thing. Yeah, most Americans do eat a ton of bread, or they eat pasta, right? So this is the thing about cutting. It's like, I'm going to cut carbs. If you're somebody who eats like 1,000 calories of pasta a day, bam, cutting carbs is gonna make you lose a lot of weight because pasta is really calorie dense. Bread can be very calorie dense. Now, I eat bread, but like I had 2 hot dogs. I had 2 hot dogs for dinner. Like there's bread. It's exactly 200, exactly. It's 260 calories worth of bread. So if you decided not to eat those hot dog buns and you just ate the hot dogs which were 60 calories a piece. I got lean hot dogs, There's 60 calories with like 10 grams of protein or something. So lean beef hot dogs. Eat 2 of those and skip the bread. You've saved 260 calories, which for a lot of people, if you're at one stable weight and you just cut your total expenditure by 200 calories, you're going to be losing like a couple pounds a month without even trying. So in some cases, just cutting bread out of your diet can like instantly solve things, or just eating less of it. I cut bread for a few weeks and surprised how addicted to eat I was. Yeah, I think sugar. People have said like sugar triggers things in the brain. I'm not. I think that's possible. I think it can like light up pleasure centers in the brain. It tastes good, so it's easy to see how sugar could be addictive, which means probably shouldn't eat candy all day. It's really hard to stop eating candy once you're eating candy all the time. When I was into the meta, it was 6 months heavy and 6 months light, but whatever works. Yeah. High reps, low weights get shredded. I've heard this the other way too. It's like, oh no, you got to lift heavy because like you're in an energy, you use less energy when it's something like that. I will say I did like light reps, or I did like low weight for like leg day 2 days ago, and I'm still unbelievably sore. And you just figure it out like this. If you're doing a lower weight, higher reps, you can add it up. You're probably doing more work than if you're lifting heavy, which means you're burning more energy, and it also means you're tearing that muscle down more. The total amount of work is how far you move the weight times how many times you move it. That's going to be how much work. So like if you move 100 pounds, 1 foot, that's 100 foot-pounds of work. So let's say you're doing, I don't know what exercise would be like a 1 foot rep. I don't know. Maybe bench press? Maybe like really wide grip bench press is a 1 foot rep. I don't know. Let's say you're doing really wide grip bench press. You're like, man, I'm going to be strong. I'm going to do 300 times 5. You're like, okay, 300 times 5. That's 1,500 pounds, 1,500 foot-pounds of work. Well, if you dropped it to 200 and you did 15 reps, well, now you've done twice as much work. Or if you went down to 150 pounds and you did 20 reps, you've now done twice as much work. And then if you did the heavy lifting, it means you burn twice as much energy, literally, but you're not burning that much energy when you're weightlifting, I think. I think you tend to burn a lot more energy by like firing up your quads and running or something. But just as an example, you do more work. So that means actually that your muscles are having to do more work in order to do the lighter reps. So you notice bodybuilders tend to not lift super heavy. Now, some of them do. They always have like some heavy thing in there. But like Jay Cutler, when I'd see him at the gym, his stuff was pretty moderate weight considering he was a 300-pound dude and one of the biggest bodybuilders on the planet. He'd be like, oh, I'm going to do some chin-ups. He did a bunch of pull-ups, Or he'd do, it's like, I'm going to do some curls, and he'd do like curls with 40 pounds. Some other guys over there like, oh man, I'm going to do like some 80-pound curls. And it's like, Jay's doing like a low to moderate, even 30-pound curls. He'd do like 25, 30 reps and do like 30 sets in a workout. His muscles were getting a lot of work, Christian Bale said he's going to stop all the gaining and losing weight he's done for the movies he's made. 1 year he'd be Batman, the next he'd be a crackhead, then fat years later. Oh, yeah. Here's a drop-off, though. Volume is important, but volume that is difficult builds mass. Lifting 135, 200 times won't do much. Well, if you're trying to build, the stronger you make yourself, the more work you can do later, right? So if you increase your strength, that means you can, if you go lighter, you can do even more reps, right? So you can do even more work as well. But that's why like people who are doing hypertrophy, trying to make their muscles as big as possible, they tend to do lighter reps. And I think you also have the benefit of that there's just lower risk of injury if you're not lifting super heavy all the time. And I think that risk of injury goes up and up and up the heavier you get, the stronger you get. So, bench pressing A bench press is not a safe activity to do by yourself, especially after you get past, like, I don't know. I don't know what the weight would be that it becomes dangerous, like 200 pounds or 150 pounds. You really need a spotter, which is why I don't usually do bench press personally. I do dumbbell press because if I fail, I can just drop the weights and I'm safe. Whereas with bench press, like if you can't get the bar back up, you're kind of in a bad position, you know? So, you know, there's more risk of injury, I think, when you get heavier too, which is why I see a lot of, you know, again, I go back to Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler really, he had a bicep tear that kind of ended his career, but he was already at the end of it. And he really just avoided injuries for like 20 years of bodybuilding. That's pretty good considering. So anyway, so it's really what you eat. Yeah, Val the movie boss. It really comes down to what you eat. I have a high metabolism or something, but each day I eat 2 pancakes, a TV dinner, and maybe a few snacks like yogurt or small batch of cookies. I sit at a desk all day, 150 pounds. To me, that's not a lot of food. To me, that would be like breakfast. I eat, you know, it's like if I was not regulating myself, like 2 pancakes. When I eat pancakes, I eat 4 pancakes and I eat 4 eggs. If I eat less than that, I'll be just like starving hungry. I got to eat big. So I eat a lot of vegetables to try to fill up the space. That works for me. People say if you do 100 push-ups a day, it hurts your gains because your body doesn't have enough time to heal. But once your body just get used to it in time, I think so. Now I've heard there's as many different ways as you can imagine, and you can always try them out. There's guys who do full body every single day and have a lot of gains that they get from that, you know. Then there's guys who are like, you know, you got to hit. So I'll be right back. Since we're talking fitness. Oh, my legs are sore. Where is it? All right, so here's the book. This is Arnold Schwarzenegger's Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding. This is an old book at this point, but nothing that's in this book, this is like the stuff that bodybuilders figured out for 50 years, like what works as far as exercises, diet, that kind of stuff. If you want like a really good book for how bodybuilders approach things, it's probably going to be this one. And so all the stuff that you might expect is in there. He's like, you should start with powerlifting and building strength because that builds muscle that doesn't go away, get you stronger to lift more weights in different ways. And then, you know, then you work into other stuff. He has like full workout routines. And for him, his thing was like he went to the gym twice a day. And so he basically was hitting every body part every day. Now he was an enhanced athlete, so better recovery time. But I've heard a lot of natty athletes basically say the same thing. It's like if you're not hitting the body part like 3 times a week, you're like leaving gains on the table. So take that for what it is. I'll tell you what I do at the gym right now is actually like a full body as often as I can get to the gym. Now I do different exercises every time. So if I can get to the gym more than one day in a row, because I have an erratic schedule due to just how crazy my life is right now. I can't expect my daughter to be in bed on time. I can't expect some kind of family crisis to not pop up. So I get to the gym when I can. But you know, if I do squats day 1, I'll do deadlifts day 2. So one's kind of front legs, the other one's kind of more glutes and hamstrings. You know, you might do incline bench or something one day. The next day it's decline flies or some other kind of superset that you have going on, something else like that. My wife sent me a text. You okay? Yes. All right. So yeah. So this is a good book if you could find it. I got it at a thrift store. I don't remember how much I paid for it. $6.99. Not bad for what it is. This is like basically So that's basically how it is. So like I do a full body, but just vary what exercises are there. So, you know, in a regular like bro split, you'd have like day one would be chest. You can do like bench press. You're going to do flies, decline flies, like cable crossovers. You're going to do like, you're going to do... Oh, great. My watch is going off. My watch all the way in the bedroom's like going off because I had a timer on my phone. Woke my wife up. Very nice husband, huh? So yeah. Anyway, this has that stuff in there, and he has it breaks down so like it changes every other day, but every day you're hitting basically every body part in different parts of the day. So like in the morning you'd be hitting, you know, chest and back, and in the afternoon you'd be doing legs, and you'd be doing calves. Like every single day you'd be doing calves. So really the whole thing repeats every 2 days. And that's what he used to get completely to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. And this is also basically the program that like all the other pros around him used, because they all figured out, like there was a lot of sharing of information. They just did stuff that worked, and they tried a million different things and ended up doing what worked. Another thing I really loved about this is there's all these great pictures, not just of Arnold, but like of, you know, of all these other bodybuilders back when you couldn't get these, back before like the internet was like huge. You couldn't just get these pictures like of Serge Nubret, of like all these different guys. There's some great pictures of like Lee Priest in here. You know, Lee Priest is in here. Here's Lee Priest. A lot of the guys from like the 90s and 2000s that I was, you know, that I thought were like these big guys when I was young, before I got like super out of shape and like had to turn that around. Like, you know, show you every little exercise, how to do it. So it's a good book. It's a good place to start if you want like a big thick book that's got everything in it. And like bodybuilding really hasn't changed that much. Like you can follow bodybuilding YouTube channels and they'll have a bunch of debates. They're debating like, what's the ideal thing? Is it slightly different from this, or is it the same as this? You know. So weightlifting, Arnold pretty much solved it in the 70s, as far as like getting big, ripped, and strong. And then we've just taken it to bigger extremes there, coming up with new, you know, a couple other new ways of doing things. I started doing keto, but now I basically do low carb, eating 20 to 50 carbs a day, like 100 plus on the weekend. I've been interested in low carb and heart health. I think my diet might actually, you know, some days I think it technically qualifies as low carb, because I'll have maybe 200 calories worth of carbohydrates to 300 calories worth of carbohydrates, which is pretty low carb at a 2,000 calorie diet. And other days it's more. Just depends on what's going on. Depends like which meals I choose. Some meals are like lower carb, higher fat. Some meals are lower fat, higher carb. Just depends. Creatine was the big deal back then. I do remember checking the grossest stuff before working out. Yeah. You know, I had a joke. It's like let's play some games, but you know, it's like I gained 5 pounds this week, guys. How'd you gain 5 pounds? Start taking creatine. Makes you hold a bunch of water, you know, makes you hold water. So like, oh, I could lose 5 pounds in like 2 days. Just stop taking creatine, and then you pee out all the water. Easy weight loss. So it's not really about losing weight. Let me make this point. It's about losing weight, losing fat, and keeping muscle or building muscle, right? That's what you want to do. Let's get this hooked up here. Sit? Yeah. There we go. Is this on? There it goes. Meet feet up. Bam. Go through all these games. Been trying to stick to 1,500 calories a day. Wow. That's low. 1,500 calories is like To me, that's pretty low. It's not quite like concentration camp rations, but that's pretty low, dude. I don't think I could handle. I mean, I guess I've done 1,500 before, but man, that's low. For me, like if I'm trying to lose weight, it's 2,000 calories. And then you could go down a little bit from there to like 1,800. 1,500 is really low. That's like girl calories. But I don't know. I think there's like bikini competitors that are eating like 900 calories a day. It's like, guys, that's not very much food. I love that harp. I'm on the quest for good harp patches. And I find a couple here or there, but they're just never right. And I can actually get this one with synth 1. You know, I love that harp sound. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to actually play at my mother-in-law's funeral this Saturday. I'm like pretty out of practice. But she was a fan, so I kind of want to do it. I practiced a little bit tonight. It's like there's whole songs that I forgot, and then I started playing them. I'm like, oh, I remember this. I guess I can play this. Maybe I'll do like a little concert Thursday or something. I don't know. There's this idea of girl calories that exists in fitness. It's like, dude, you're eating girl calories, which just means that you're not eating a lot. All right. Let's go into this temple. If you go into the ship, you will get eaten by a sea monster right away. So we're going to go here. And if you have mini on, you can go in here. But here's the problem. As soon as you come in here, things will own the crap out of you. So I think I'm going to try to... Oh, we can't turn mini off in here. Ooh, that's bad. This is going to be maybe a slightly tough area. If we're doing it with mini on. Maybe we might need to level up more. Hold on. What does this do? Nothing. Yeah, girl calories just means like, because women don't need to eat as much food as men do. Seems kind of obvious, right? You know, women need less energy than men because they're smaller. Smaller creatures. Down about 25 pounds. Good job. You can tell that I've gained some muscle. Chances are... So this is a... Okay. Let's be real. You're probably not gaining muscle when you're losing weight. If you're losing a significant amount of weight. If you're obese, you actually have more lean body mass. So you're going to lose lean body mass as well. But you could get a lot stronger, and the muscle could get higher quality. Because when your body's just in that higher metabolic state, like these things are probably going to wreck me here. Let's try Thunder. Bloodworm. Don't worry, I've got this one. Thundara. The complete orchestral collection sample library has a lot of instruments used in the early 2000s. It's great for creating music from that era. Good. It's good to know. It's like hard to find good harp patches. Yeah, I think we're gonna get owned here. Pretty. Yeah, there's no way we're gonna like get through here. We'll probably just need to run away from everything. Never mind. Alright, good. Vox gained a level. One of the fittest I've ever been, only weighed 60 kilograms. Always regretted not going into boxing. I don't think you should ever regret not going into boxing because it causes brain damage. I know that that's not a popular thing maybe to say because like everyone's like, I want to be tough and be a boxer, but I mean, these fighting sports, these guys get massive head injuries. It's the same thing with like NFL. Serpent sword. Interesting. All right. You know, I mean, the head injuries are pretty real. Oh, Dr. Hacker's here. Building muscle while dieting is possible. With the lower calories you are eating, the less likely it is to happen. Yeah. Like if you're really cutting a lot of weight, it's pretty hard. I think you can. I think people that are really obese though, they have a lot of. They're gonna lose some lean body mass too. But your body, when it's getting healthier, it's okay. It's not a big a deal. Let's see here. Thunder. Never been a huge fan of boxing as a sport. I like boxing as a sport. I think boxing is a cool sport. I like to watch it. But I'm aware that like I would not want to go into it. Like people get a lot of head injuries from it that I'm trying to remember what they call it. You know, Muhammad Ali had pugilistic Parkinson's. He had Parkinson's from fighting. Cure this person. That's true. Obese people actually have a lot of muscle due to their weight, and that will get less as they get leaner. And you don't, yeah, I mean, if you think about an obese person, somebody who's like 400 pounds, they're, you know, just to get themselves up out of a chair, they have to use a lot of strength because they weigh so much more. So your body's probably not going to need as much of that as you get leaner, would be my guess. It's just not, it's not as necessary. And Dr. Hacker is actually a bodybuilder too, so she knows what she's talking about. Oh, no, I have poison on. It's not good. Poisona. There you go. Uh-oh, there's like a little creature on that hole. Oh, great. Rats. Can we just run away? Let's try run away. Let's see if we can just run away. Actually, for this guy, I'm gonna try. Now we can do one of these. Let's do fire. Run away. Chronic CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Yeah. So a bunch of NFL football players here in America have this. And it's a big problem. Because it changes their behavior. You know, so that they like lose their temper, and like there was one who like he like freaked out and like killed his wife or something, and was having all kinds of psychological issues because he was brain damaged. He was brain damaged from getting hit and beat up in the NFL. I'm trying to remember his name. Squeak, who you be? You know, take shiny, Squeak. Especially that the Overworld theme. Yeah, I love Final Fantasy III music. And we can listen to the original NES. I could actually turn on the NES soundtrack too, which sounds pretty cool to me. Trained with a group of 16-year-olds years ago in Taekwondo for a bit, and those kicked like a horse. Yeah. Taekwondo seems kind of dangerous to me too. There's a lot of like head hit, like, or well, no, maybe I'm thinking of Muay Thai. Man, you get hit in the head a lot in these fighting sports. I think it's something I would personally. I would probably do like jiu-jitsu. Because jiu-jitsu, like grappling sports, are less head traumatic, but the exertion's really intense, and they can actually be useful. Dance on him. Magic. Fire. Guard. The movie Concussion went into the whole thing with NFL players who have brain damage. It was a pretty good movie. Yeah, suicides. You're right. I mean, it was just, it kind of opened my eyes when I actually started hearing about it. The big one I heard talk about it was actually GSP, George St. Pierre. Oh my gosh. There goes Mel. I wasn't paying attention. Let's see if we can res him. Try Lazara. Phoenix down. Sometimes patients with CTE start self-medicating with drugs and or alcohol, which doesn't make it better. On the contrary, yeah, you can see that. Yeah, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is really it's very it's way more intensive than you think. So if you watch two guys in a jiu-jitsu match, you don't realize the tension your muscles are under in a significant grappling match, or wrestling, American wrestling, or not American wrestling, like Greco-Roman wrestling. You know, actual wrestling, not WWF stuff. The WWF stuff I think can be pretty hard on your body. It can be really, really intensive. Let's see if I can get through this boss fight. Scarily enough, frontal lobe damage can even trigger personality changes. I've heard this too. My wife is a speech therapist. She's had to work with people with traumatic brain injuries. I've actually worked with people with traumatic brain injuries as a... You wouldn't believe this, but playing guitar as a post-incident therapy, because if you have your motor centers affected by a traumatic brain injury, like hit the car accident or something, and you are not able to move your fingers correctly, basically you have to relearn how to move your hand. It's kind of like if you've had a stroke or something. So I've had students take guitar from me as a means of therapy. So might as well use that on him. Wait, I think I can use. Let's see if I can use the sword. Spark dagger. I guess we'll use that on him. Let's keep hitting him with fire, I guess. What was I saying? Yeah, I've worked with students who have that. And a lot of times after you have a brain injury, you can get personality changes or a stroke. I had a friend named Dwight who... He had an injury that caused a stroke. This was really weird. So he was a construction worker, and basically he had a huge load of rebar hit him on the neck. And something happened where like a blood clot got dislodged. Like he had a blood clot from the bruise, and it dislodged and ended up on his brain, and he got a stroke from that. And because it was because of where it was, it gave him this flat affect. Flat affect is like their personality seems very subdued. They're not as emotive as they normally are. And it was a big stress on his marriage and all kinds of things like that. Like, big deal. I think we'll start using potions here. Get this guy fire. There was a guy full on like Wolverine. Did all the real beast fighters basically get banned from the UFC before they got big? I think the UFC started with basically no rules. Like, you can find the old ones of like Tank Abbott wearing sneakers in the ring and stuff like that, or in the octagon. The octagon. And it's always funny, like, it's an octagon. The octagon is special because there's no sharp corners, so you can't really corner somebody. That's why the octagon is like a cool thing, I guess. But yeah, you had guys that like had sneakers on, guys wearing jiu-jitsu gis, you know, no gloves, all kinds of weird stuff. And later they developed rules because as it got bigger, they were more concerned about the liability thing. And we're kind of too low a level to get this guy down here, which kind of sucks. We have a potion. We'll, if we can't get this guy down here when we run out of fire, like, we're gonna have to reload and level up. One. Well, that didn't really do much. A few years ago, there was an Australian cricket player who got hit on the neck, ruptured a blood vessel, and it killed him. I can believe that. I mean, you have there's big arteries that go in your neck, and if you break one of those open, you can die from leg wounds. A lot of people don't realize, you know, you have that femoral artery in your leg causes a lot of deaths, like soldiers that get hit in the legs and stuff. You can bleed out and die very quickly if you're hit in the right place. Obtain Neptune Eye! Neptune Eye. Sweet. I don't see any other treasure here, do you? Oh no! He probably got a dissection in his carotid artery, a carotid artery, yeah. A small rift in the blood vessels in the inner wall. That can happen from blunt trauma to the neck, and that sent off a small blood clot. Yeah, I think that's what ended up happening to him. Anyway, it happened after the injury. So he had the injury, and then he was okay, and then he had a stroke, like a little bit after that, and they couldn't figure out what had happened. It was pretty wild. Where rat? Oh man. Let's see if we can do any damage yet. Oops. Let's do fire. Yeah, that was bad cricket. Balls are gonna go an insane amount of speed. They're very hard, and they're bouncing. They're bouncing around too. And like they call it bowling, like you're wearing big pads and you're, you know, the balls are coming at you. A baseball can kill you. You know, if it hits you, that's why they wear helmets. If it hits you in the temple, I mean, it's lights out sometimes, you know. It's called hardball for a reason. Yeah, I'm still not hitting for anything. Probably just need to run away from these fights. Alright. When we have Minnie on, I guess Lydia's the one who can do all the work here. But yeah, it affected his personality, and affect his personality in a big way. And it can cause a lot of strains. I like that giant skull. It's not really giant, you're just tiny. Alright. The thing with cricket is it's perfectly acceptable, sometimes encouraged to aim directly at the body head. I didn't know that, but if you hit a player intentionally in American baseball, you'll get ejected from the game. It's strictly against the rules. Vox Day said that when his team would go up against other kickboxers, they would almost always be at the top, but when they fought Muay Thai fighters, they hardly could ever beat them. Maybe something about their technique, you know? Maybe something about the technique. I'm not an expert in either one. And I don't really know enough about either one to tell you like which one is like why Muay Thai is special. I know that like the Muay Thai clinch is considered pretty strong. All right. Often the body tries to fix the small injury in the wall of the blood vessel by clogging it with blood. And if a small part of that blood clogging gets loose, it goes to the brain. Oof. So it can, well, take a few days before you get a stroke. Thank you. Yeah, that's what happened to him. And that's what they think happened is he got this injury. I think he had the stroke when he was at home. Like he was okay after the injury, and then like he was at home eating dinner and then had a stroke. And they gave him some kind of drug that like helped reverse part of the stroke, so it saved his life. But it was kind of a bad. I mean, it was a bad thing for him. It affected one side of his brain, so like he used to play guitar, but he couldn't really move his hand anymore correctly. Like he could move his left side of his body, but not with the normal precision that a person would normally be used to. So like he had trouble having enough strength to hold an object. Like he could move his arm and like grab things, but you know, a cup would fall out of his hand randomly. Things like that. Because somehow the neuromuscular connection had been severed in a really bad way. Yeah, baseballs can be quite deadly if it hits you in the head just right. Is there anything in here? Maybe a treasure chest? Or no, it goes to the same place. Doesn't matter. Alright. Let's go. Run away. Oh no! It's not really acceptable though, the batter. The crowd knows that, and the batter will have words. Fire. I remember reading about a shark attack back in 1916 where a man got attacked by a shark and died on his way to the hospital because the shark bit his femoral artery and bled out as a result. Yeah, I believe that. There's soldiers who die because they bleed out before you can, stop the bleeding. Retaliate. Yeah, it's quite the miracle drug. I stood by the side of a patient who went from not being able to speak, getting the injection, and could suddenly speak perfectly again. Sad to hear it didn't manage to reverse the stroke completely, dear friend. Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I think it saved his life, though, because it was such a significant clot. Like he lost consciousness or something like that. So I think it saved him, but it didn't completely stop the brain injury. But he didn't completely lose everything. You know, he had some personality changes. He could still, you know, move one side of his body somewhat appropriately. All right, here we go. Put the eye of the dragon in. Put the missing eye back in its socket. You know, I don't know how much physical therapy has helped either. He could still talk and everything. He could talk just fine, but his personality is different. It's kind of weird. It's hard to describe. Like somebody who's very energetic and like really funny. He still cracks jokes, but he does them in this kind of deadpan way. It's really weird. Like he still knows what jokes are and the jokes are funny, but he doesn't tell them in a way that's like got any personality behind it. It's strange. I'm the Nepto Dragon, guardian of the seas. I thank you for returning my missing eye. The eye is more than a simple gem. It is my soul. Without it, my physical manifestation, the dragon, could not be controlled. Now that I am whole once more, I may rest in peace and watch over these waters. Oh, great. That's how you get past the sea monster. However, the water itself has lost its light. Yeah, the sea monster was hitting my party for like 3,000. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to get past this guy. Someone created the great earthquake, and the light was pulled into the depths of the nether. Warriors of the light, I bestow upon you the Fang of Water. It will infuse you with the powers that will allow you to overcome new challenges. Now you must go forth and recover the light. Looking at the... Oh, I probably did save his life, or at least made the sequel. I don't know that word. Much less than it would have been. Let's see. Did we get more jobs here? Ooh, we got Red Mage. So we got Red Mage now. What's his current job levels? 10. Alright. Okay. Alright. Oh, sorry. Looking at the attack, various experts believe because of the man's height and size, he would have likely survived being attacked by the shark if his femoral artery wasn't hit. Sequel means long-term effects. Okay, thank you. Let's go back. Oh, wait, first we should save the game, huh? What time is it? About 12:30. Alright, I was going to go out and save the game. I don't watch cricket, but if you're only allowed 2 bouncers and over, and they're considered no balls as well. So it's not encouraged and is generally a mistake if you see the bowler apologize. What are your thoughts over the different depictions of Jesus between the Gospels? Personally, I can't get enough of the Chad Jesus from Mark. I think that's a great question. I mean, that's why there's 4 Gospels, is because there's 4 different perspectives will show you 4 different things. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have like an opinion of which one I like the best. I think I like the Gospel of John is probably my favorite of the 4, but it's not to say anything bad about the others. You know, I think the more righteous, I think Mark, you know, the Chad Jesus, the more righteous. Oh, now we can't get to the ship. So the ship was only there so we could get on. There was a ship here. You could get on it, and then the sea monster would kill you instantly. You'd have to reload a save. So it was only there to get you to attack the sea monster and die, so that you would know to go to the temple. I guess that's an interesting piece of game design. It's like they kill you to make you go do something else. Take good care of the Enterprise, alright? I can't get to it. Glad to see you made it back safely. As you might have guessed, the boss is in a better mood Welcome to Mognet. I think we still have Mini on. We should probably turn that off. Let's see if it... I think there's a spring here that might just turn it off without having to save at the end. That's, I think, interesting stuff about the Gospels, too, is that at different points, some people had thought about, like, writing a single unified document or something. And it was basically determined to keep the tradition of the Gospels that had been read at Mass for hundreds of years at that point. We'll go here and de-mini ourselves so we can actually fight bad guys without getting wrecked. The bouncer is definitely encouraged and is mandatory part of a fast bowler's arsenal. They limit the number per over because the game becomes very stale. Oh, thank you for the super chat. Once lift off 90% Mountain Dew and exercise 4 hours a day for 6 months. Lost 65 pounds, could run 10K in 30 minutes. It was in great shape. But went crazy. Voices. Interesting. Yeah, just Mountain Dew. I bet that's not healthy. But I think you could lose weight. I think my brother-in-law at one point was like, I lost all this weight just drinking orange juice. And I was like, man, I would never drink orange juice to lose weight. But if all you're drinking is orange juice, you're probably in a calorie deficit. I just don't think that you're going to get a lot of good stuff. I lived off Dr. Pepper when I was like 20. Like I would stay up for like 3 days straight working on music. And I would just drink Dr. Pepper and pretzels out of like the vending machine in the music department. Which is really bad for you, but I didn't really get fat from it. I don't know, maybe because I was young. I didn't really get fat till like my mid-20s when I was drinking a lot of beer. Beer is very calorie dense. And so when you're drinking a lot of beer every day, it's a lot of extra calories. After playing through all the Final Fantasy games, would you consider doing Bravely Default? Bravely Second gameplay? The hard part would be streaming Bravely Default. I really like Bravely Default a lot. I don't know if Bravely Default 2 came out or I haven't kept up with that. I didn't like the Bravely Default 2 demo because I didn't like the characters. I might just play it in Japanese. That's usually my go-to. Like I didn't like Octopath Traveler characters. So I just played that in Japanese. And that solved that problem. I just didn't like the voice actors, I guess. So that's, always got to do guard to like level up the job skills. Yeah, I like Bravely Default a lot. Bravely Default's very heavily inspired by this particular version of Final Fantasy III. With this art style and this gameplay. Interesting. I vaguely remember some doctor trying to prove that calories in versus calories out is all that matters to eat nothing but M&Ms at a deficit and lost weight. As my understanding is, the generally accepted dogma is it's, when it comes to losing weight, it's laws of thermodynamics, right? Like if you expend more energy than you take in, your body's going to use up your stored energy in some way. There's tons of unhealthy ways to do that, though. So why not just fast? Well, because your body needs amino acids, so it's going to start breaking down your muscles to get those amino acids. So you kind of don't want to just eat nothing. Just eating nothing is probably going to do the opposite of what you want. It's going to reduce your muscle mass, which is going to make your metabolism even lower. But people come up with all kinds of crazy ideas for how people should lose weight. You know, the most orthodox method of losing weight is eat a healthier diet that's lower in calories than what you need, what you use in a day, and you will steadily lose weight until you get to a healthy body fat percentage. Remember to recommend... Oh, the fitness channel. So, okay, here's the ones I like. So, let me think off the top of my head. I can look at my subscriptions. So, there's a really old school one that's just... I used to watch like 10 years ago, but it's just got tons of content on it. And that's Scooby's channel. Scooby's Workshop. Let's see if it's still here. He doesn't upload anymore. So Scooby 1961. He only uploads like pretty rarely, but he's got a ton of fitness content, ton of stuff on like how to perform different exercises. It's a pretty good place to start, and it's kind of like a tough love channel. So Scooby 1961, that's a good one. There's a couple newer ones that are good. Let me think about them. I'm having to think off the top of my head because I don't watch a lot of videos, so I have to think like, oh yeah, what did I watch? If you are into like if you're into knowing about steroids, like I wouldn't recommend you take steroids. More Plates, More Dates. You can check out More Plates, More Dates. He does a lot of stuff on like steroid stuff, but his content can be a little bit long. Sometimes I watch it because I think he knows what he's talking about as far as doing gear. And like who's doing gear and how they're doing it, or why did this person lose all his gains? And the answer is because they stopped using steroids. Like, oh, how did this person lose all their muscle mass? It's like, well, they were taking steroids and then they stopped that, and so that's what happens. You know, if you build up a bunch of muscle with exogenous hormones, and then you stop taking those hormones, the muscle tends to go away, at least to some degree. What's another big one? Jeff Nippard. If you like someone to yell at you, you could try Greg Doucette. Greg Doucette has a lot of free recipes. He's an IFBB pro. He was a natural bodybuilder forever, and then he went the roid route. But his diet is pretty close to how I eat, so he has a whole cookbook. You could probably check that out if you want like a cookbook that is going to work for you, I guess. So I can't go this way. I wonder where I'm supposed to go. Jeff Nippard has a lot of good stuff. Yeah, so you can check out his channel. Elliot Hulse, I don't recommend Elliot Hulse. I like Elliot Hulse's content, but he is going to be all over the map as far as what he's going to tell you to do. Like, you could totally watch him. He's a really interesting guy. I think he's slightly crazy, and that's kind of why I think his content is good. But he's been like a strongman competitor, and then he's been everything, right? So he could probably tell you all kinds of good stuff. But I don't know. I take what he says with a grain of salt because I think he's just slightly crazy. Like insane crazy. I mean, like I think he might have a screw loose. But I think that's kind of why his content is good. Rich Piana, rest in peace. Rich was like, I don't know, man. I don't think Rich was particularly honest about what he did. You know? I have nothing against Rich. I guess he was living his dream. I kind of liked Rich's content, sort of, earlier on. But like he pumped collagen and stuff into his muscles that they looked really weird if you ever saw it. He always used oil and like denied it. You know, you can't watch Boston Lloyd. Boston Lloyd got banned from YouTube, so you can't watch his channel anymore. But that's another guy. Like, these are guys who are just way into the drug side of it. And so if you are into knowing about the drugs, I guess it's a good place to start. But, you know, most people are not going to want to be taking a lot of bodybuilding drugs. You can watch the guy who played the Mountain on Game of Thrones if you want to feel like a weakling. Oh yeah, Hafthor Bjornsson. This guy is, I mean, he's legitimately, he set the world deadlift record like last year. He's legitimately incredibly strong. Like, it's not just for show. The guy is really a mountain of a man. My husband and I were trying to put on more muscle. We only watched Rich Piana. Rich Piano's, I mean, like, okay, so what do you want out of a fitness channel? Do you want motivation? Oh, Hodge Twins. Like, I don't even know if they still do fitness stuff, but that's where they got big, was doing a lot of fitness stuff. If you want guys to make you laugh and get you motivated to do work, the Hodge Twins were great. I love them. Now they do a lot of political stuff. They're like very conservative. They're like, we came out as conservative and everyone got mad at us. I guess because they're black. But I always like their content. Yeah, do you want to get motivated? Like, if you want to get motivated, then that's good. If you want info that you can maybe apply, a lot of channels are going to confuse you, but it's okay. Like, you're going to learn as you go. It's not, I guess it's not that big a deal. Because, like, if you get a bunch of, you'll figure out what's the best information. Jeff Nippard's very orthodox, and he's like, what does the science say? And I'm like, well, the science is mostly confirming what bodybuilders knew like 30 years ago, 40 years ago. You know, so that's kind of where you end up. It's like, science, turns out science confirms what bodybuilding's already known. Turns out all these people tinkering away with building muscle for 50 years kind of figured this stuff out already. But it's fine. The mathematics behind weight loss is simple. It's just about burning more than you eat. But successful weight loss is more about changing habits, which can be very hard. I agree. So one of the things, like I said, that really helped me was, you know, even after, so I gained like 40 pounds after losing 100, but it took 8 years to gain the 40 pounds. So that's only 5 pounds a year. It's not that much. I changed my eating habits enough that even when I couldn't exercise at all, I only, you know, I didn't gain that much weight. I gained like 20 pounds at one point because I couldn't do cardio at all. I had plantar fasciitis in both my feet. And if you never had plantar fasciitis, you don't want it. But like, I had this extreme inflammation in my, the fascia that runs underneath your foot and the arch of your foot. It's really painful. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. I might have to like look up a guide or something. Because I can't get to that ship. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Yeah, it's really about getting your habits in order and having an approach to dieting that is a permanent change. Permanent change in the way you eat is probably going to be the best thing. I like Joe Delaney's channel. Yeah, he's very down to earth. Dry British humor and nothing magical, just pure business. Arnold was doing fasted cardio in the morning before we even properly understood now how insulin works. Yeah, they just tried stuff out, and if it worked, they just did it, you know? It's kind of great that way. Thank you for the $5. I appreciate it, Nathan. Another weird thing. I only ate 10 grams of protein a day, but gained 10 pounds of muscle and could easily bench sets of 250 pounds. I did 600 push-ups a day. Well, here's something interesting about protein. You know, when you're young, apparently this is the case. You can correct me. But like, when you're young, apparently you can digest protein more efficiently than when you're old. I don't know if this will do anything. So you actually don't need to eat as much of it. And then there's protein in more things than just meat. Yeah, I don't know where I'm supposed to go right now. That's interesting. Am I supposed to go somewhere special? Let's save the game again. It's about time that I log off. I'll ask my friend Pete, where do I go now? Because I'm very confused. I probably missed something. Had it too, plantar fasciitis. It's horrific. I had it in both feet. Now, this is the really crappy part of the story, right? So how did I get plantar fasciitis? Well, my wife went into labor at 3 in the morning, and I grabbed an old worn out set of sneakers and threw them on my feet. Because I thought they'd be soft on my feet. We got to the hospital, and there was nowhere to sit. They didn't have any chairs. Now, I'm saying there were no chairs. There was like a couch way far away from the bed and everything. And so I stood for 24 hours straight because my wife was in labor for 24 hours. Now, the 24 hours of labor was horrific for my wife. So I hate to be like, well, I ended up with plantar fasciitis on both my feet. All you did. I couldn't walk for months. It's like, you know, you were anemic and couldn't even stand. You know, so I hate to say that, like, that's how I got it. But I stood for 24 hours straight in these worn out sneakers, and I couldn't walk the next day. My feet were hurting so bad, I didn't know what was wrong. And then, like, finally went to the doctor, and the doctor's like, you just have really bad plantar fasciitis. And it's like, it's bad enough you can see it swollen on your feet. It's like, what do I do, doc? I have to work tomorrow. Well, you need to maybe take a couple days off from work. It's like, I just got this job. My son's 4 days old. I can't not go to work tomorrow. I can't lose this job. So, you know, I took insoles out of my Red Wing boots and put them into my dress shoes, and just dealt with it. I just dealt with it. I sat down as much as I could, but I was a teacher, so I was expected to stand all day long as well. It really didn't work out well for me. So my usual cardio was running. Couldn't run. I could bike, but biking hurt too, because like you're pedaling, so it hurt my feet to bike. And also the way that you bike, where like a lot of times you're on a toe, like your toes are up because you want to get your calves involved when you're biking a little bit. So it hurt to bike. You know, I just couldn't do cardio. And that one change, I didn't really change my diet very much. You know, I didn't like go pig out on donuts every day. But that one change, and maybe working, the stress of working, it might have been a stress thing too. I don't know. It made me gain like a bunch of weight within a short amount of time that I had to go back and lose later. That really sucked. So it was super painful. The Hodge twins still do fitness videos, but they're mainly known for their political stuff now, yeah. Anyway, I appreciate the super chat. Yeah, you can when you're young, I guess you can uptake protein better. And then as you get older, you're worse at it for some reason. I don't really know why, but that's what I've heard. And so when you're younger, you can make better use of the protein you have in your diet. When you're older, you gotta up your protein because you're just not gonna be able to use it as much. All right, so I saved the game. I don't know where I'm supposed to go next, but I think I'm gonna call it there for the night because it's getting kind of late. But I do appreciate the super chats. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Talking fitness, which is always fun. I meant to start my diet in February, but my mother-in-law died. Was in the hospital and then died. So after she died, we found these. So this is, I'll tell you the story. Let me turn off this music. So I'll tell you the story. So after she died, we found all of these See's Candies gift certificates in her desk. So she used to buy gifts for people months in advance. And this was a really sad thing because you never know when someone's going to go. Right? This wasn't a plan. She planned on living. She didn't think the heart surgery would kill her. But I think maybe her body was damaged by all the radiation from when she had cancer that, you know, there's just like a lot of unforeseen things. But she had all these See's Candy certificates because she would buy, I guess she bought them in bulk. Somehow she got a deal on them. And then she would give those out all the time for birthdays and stuff. So we kind of passed those out. We went and grabbed one, and we got a couple boxes of chocolate, and we just, you know, we had some chocolate. I still have some. Gave a box to my mom. And my wife was like, yeah, the calories you eat after someone dies, they don't really count. So yeah, we ate some chocolate and stuff this week. But I still, like, eating the chocolate, I gained like 5 ounces eating chocolate. Didn't gain any weight. I don't know why. I gained weight. I gained 5 pounds this week because I put creatine back in. And then it's like, boom, 5 pounds. I gained 5 pounds of muscle. No, I gained 5 pounds of water. But it's good to know that, like, where went from like 198 to like 203. It's about where I went. So that's fine as long as, like, I keep using that supplement. I won't start thinking that I'm losing weight when I'm not. So as long as I'm stay on creatine, get the diet going, and then, we'll drop back down to like 190 or something, and I'll be pretty lean at 190. We'll take some pictures maybe. If I can get like the abs to come in, I'll take some pictures and like post physique. YouTube likes it when you post physique. So if you have physique to post, YouTube does like the physique posting for sure. So that's probably what I do. I do appreciate it, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you guys next time. Got some it's March now, so I'm working on books again, and we didn't get a whole lot of music done, but that's okay. I think I'm going to practice this week for this funeral so I can play at it, because my mother-in-law was a fan, so I would like to play at that. And then I'll get to working on publishing some more books. And maybe we'll have some hardbacks coming. We'll see what's going on. So the whole stream is just reminding me that I need to work out again. It's good. It's good for you. And there's no wrong way to start. You can start with whatever you want. Just go do some lunges. It's like I did a lightweight leg workout yesterday. I'm like, I'm kind of got to get back with the legs because I took a little while off. We'll do lightweight high reps. Man, I haven't been this sore in years. Like, I can't walk. It's like, I can't walk. Just changing that one thing. It's like, we'll just go light weights. We'll do a lot of reps. I was like, man, I can't walk. I am hurting so bad. My hamstrings and my quads are so sore. And it's like, just do 150 pounds on the squat. We'll just see how many reps we can do. Dude, I can't walk. I can't walk after that. So I don't know. Just doing that one little thing, all of a sudden, my body's like, what are you doing to me? I'm hurting. So anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Have a great one. Wait, you guys want a fat picture of me? Okay, I found one. All right, I'm going to show you a fat picture of me. Here you go. Let's do the fat picture. I think this is from 20... I'm going to try to cut my friends out of it because they don't need to be seen on the internet. All right, I'm showing this fat picture. This is a picture of me. You guys are not going to believe it. You guys ready? Okay, let me find it. All right. You can also see my messy desktop with a bunch of random shortcuts in it. All right, you guys ready? Here we go. It's a fat guy in a suit. Here's your fat reveal. I think I was about 300 pounds in this picture. So, I don't know what is that in kilos? 150 kilos ish. 145 kilos. There you go. There's your fat picture. Yeah, body weight you can do a lot with body weight too. I did a lot of body weight last year, and I felt like I got a lot stronger just doing that. So anyway, have a great one, guys. I'll see you next time. Yeah, this was at my friend's wedding, right? And there I am. I don't look that bad, but I'm definitely like 300 pounds. And thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great day too.